Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, it is raining really bad out right now. And since I live in a place that rivals the Amazon in terms of precipitation, I thought it was about time that I gave you guys a 2025 updated gear list, an updated rain gear list. So in this video, we are going to be looking at the current rain gear that I use for commuting back and forth on my folding bike in the rain. It is getting a little cold out, so I'm going to go put on a hoodie before we get started. That's better. Guys, we'll talk about the bike in another video. The bags on the bike are pretty much waterproof, and the bags that I have, like the tea bag, that are not waterproof, I pretty much have rain covers for those. So we're not going to be talking about the bike at this time. We're just going to be talking about the gear that I wear myself. Okay guys, in short, there are three key components that make up the foundation of my gear that I use during the rain. And we're going to talk about those three key components. The three key components are the body, the legs, and most importantly, the shoes. I wear quick dry shirts all the time. In fact, most if not all of my shirts are quick dry shirts. My pants are Patagonia quick dry pants. My body is pretty much covered if I get wet. I can ride out in the rain in my pants and my shirts, and in about an hour after I stop, I'd be perfectly dry. My quick dry pants and quick dry shirts are great for riding in the rain. If you get wet, it's not a huge deal. You will dry off really quickly. Also, it is really good to have synthetic fibers like that make up your base layer, whether you're in the winter, spring, summer, whatever. It's always good as a base layer. But there are times that you do not want to get wet, okay? You just don't want to get wet. It's uncomfortable. You don't want to wait the hour it's going to take to dry off. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I don't like getting wet either, especially when I have places to be. That's why we have rain gear, to cover up our bodies to keep us dry. I just mentioned the quick dry shirts and the quick dry pants for one reason only, because it's not the end of the world if they get wet. What is the end of the world is if your shoes get wet. Oh my God, it's miserable. Nobody wants to walk around going, nobody wants to. It's uncomfortable. And let's just face it, it takes forever, and I do mean forever, for shoes to dry. And you don't want to stick them in the dryer because then they get all distorted by the time they come out. So you end up having to leave them in the sun for 2 days in order for them to dry out. And then after that, they don't smell so good, do they? So the three pieces of gear that we are going to discuss first is the shoe covers that I currently use, my rain boots, my rain pants, and most importantly, my rain cape. Out of all the gear I've used, and I've used a lot, we're going to discuss these three items, and I'm going to tell you why I use these particular items. Now first, we're going to talk about the rain boots, okay? Now I've used everything from these cheap plastic bags that you put over your shoes, and then on the other end of the spectrum, I had really thick waterproof rain boots. Now the waterproof rain boots were the best at protection, at keeping the water off of your feet. The problem is they're not very compact. You have to actually have a pretty sizable bag to carry those things in. And they're just a pain in the butt to haul around. Now I tried to meet somewhere in the middle, and I got some waterproof rain shoe covers. The ones that I had last were made by Showers Pass, and they looked like this. They were a shoe cover that zipped up. They were really good in the sense that they did protect you from the rain. They just weren't very durable. Mine ripped apart after maybe 2 or 3 usings. The pedals have these knobs on them. Most pedals do, especially mountain bike pedals. The pedals are designed that way with knobs so that your feet will stick to the pedal and it doesn't slip off of it. The problem is that those rip up a lot of the rain booties. They just like rip anything, they ripped that up in 1 second. They ripped up the Showers Pass booties within 2 or 3 rides of using them. So I'm not gonna pay that kind of money for Showers Pass booties just for them to tear up after 2 or 3 rides. But I don't want to carry around thick rain boots. Well, I got on Amazon and I tried out a couple of different products. Some of them were good, some of them were crap. But what I ended up settling on was these rain boots. These are rubber. They have a thicker sole than the booties do. They're a lot more pliable than regular rain boots. Like you can kind of fold these up in all different types of directions. So I can fold them up really easy and I can stick them in my bag. They're not the lightest things in the world, but they are a lot easier to store in your bag when you're riding down the road. So basically, if it was raining in the morning, you'll wear these, you'll let them dry out over the afternoon. When you get off of work and it's nice and dry out, I don't want to wear these. Fold them up and throw them in my bag, and they don't take up that much space. The pros to these things: they're very durable. I mean, that is pretty thick rubber. They're pretty much as durable as a regular rain boot. They've got tread on them. The soles are not too thick, but they're thick enough where those little knobs on your pedals aren't going to break through the bottom. They are extremely waterproof. They have a little clasp right here that you can latch where it cinches the top. Regular rain boots are just way open, and they have to be so you can get your foot in. But you don't like that because then your rain pants can't go over it and then water just kind of gets down in there. That's just stupid. These actually have a latch where it'll cinch up the top for you so that your pants will go over it and the rain won't get inside your boot. Another pro to these things is that they're very, very cheap. I don't know who these were made by, just some oddball company on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check some out for yourself. But ultimately, they are extremely cheap. You can buy 2 or 3 sets of these and be good for a long time. The cons to these type of rain boots: they're hard to get on if you're wearing rubber-soled shoes. Rubber against rubber is not very slippery, let's just put it that way. They're extremely hard to get on if your shoe fits snugly in this. Which, a pro tip, if you want to get the shoe in easier, get some of these little booty bags and put them over your shoes, and it'll help it slide against the rubber a little bit easier. That's a con. And another con to these things is that they're very hard to get the right size. They give you kind of a sizing chart on the website, but you have to kind of measure your shoe or your existing shoe. The problem with that is that a lot of my shoes have different widths to them, even though they are the same size. Sometimes the base of one shoe will be wider than the base of the other shoe, or longer than the base of the other shoe. So if you get these to fit one shoe, doesn't mean they will fit all of your shoes. This one fits all of my shoes, but these Vans high tops, they're very snug. You know, it takes some tugging to get them on, and that's why I suggested the little bag, because it helps it slip on a little easier. But you have to measure your shoes out, and there's a possibility that you might order the wrong size. You're either going to get too big and they're going to flop around on you, or you're going to get too small and you're not going to be able to get them on. But they do make all kinds of sizes, so once you get the right size, you're golden. Now, like I said, are these as compact as my Showers Past booties? No. But are they more durable? Yes. And what do we care about? We care about durability. We care about longevity. We care about it being waterproof. Showers Past booties are waterproof until you get a hole in them, and then they're not waterproof no more. And then it's kind of pointless at that point. So far, these have been working out really good. I've tried about 4 or 5 different models. Haven't liked too many of them, but these I'm fairly satisfied with. Next up, we are going to be talking about the pants. I've got 3 or 4 pairs of these. These are cheap pants, just some no-name cheap pants that I bought off Amazon. I've had pairs of North Face, pairs of REI, pairs of Patagonia, waterproof cycling pants. God, those cycling pants are expensive. Are they durable? The problem with these plasticky waterproof pants, you're constantly always bending them. Your butt is hitting against the seat and rubbing them. Your legs are constantly moving when you're cycling. And what you'll find is that a lot of the lining of the pants will start to break down over a period of time, especially if you wash them in a washer or a dryer. So what I found, no matter what pair of pants you buy, except for the Gore-Tex stuff, and that's another story altogether that I don't want to really talk about because Gore-Tex pants are extremely expensive. Yeah, they are good, but at the same time, do you really want to spend that kind of money? If you buy the really super expensive stretch stuff, you're going to spend a lot of money. Yeah, it's going to be comfortable to cycle in, but you're going to spend a crap ton of money, and they're probably not going to last very much longer than these do. What I do is I buy a cheap pair of rain pants off Amazon. Now, I'll shop around and try to get the best deal, but there are 3 elements that make up a good rain pant. 1, you want an elastic waist. something preferably with a drawstring on it. This way you can cinch up your waist area, and that keeps your waist area pretty sealed. Another thing you want is you want pockets. You want some good seam tape pockets. That way you could unzip it and put your phone in there, things you want to access really quickly. Another key cycling feature that you want on a good pair of cycling rain pants is you want a way to adjust the pant leg. You want to be able to adjust this and cinch it up tight against your rain boot. If you just leave it the regular size, rain can seep up underneath there. You don't think it can, but when you're riding down the road, rain can work its way up into your pant leg and go over your boot and get into your boot and make your feet wet. Even though the boot itself is completely waterproof, rain can work its way up there. So having a way to cinch up your pant leg to kind of make it a little bit more tight helps prevent rain from getting up your pant leg. Speaking of which, it might not be raining in the morning, but when you start riding and halfway through your ride, it starts pouring down raining. Guess what? You got to get out your rain pants really quickly and you got to put them on the sidewalk or whatever. You don't want to have to take off your shoes to put on your pants. Well, another key feature that is really nice to have is those zip down pant legs, to where you can open up the pant leg wider and you can get your shoes around it. So that way, if you're trying to put these on the side of the road, you're not gonna have to take off your shoes because you have nowhere to stand in your socks, right? So you're gonna wanna keep your shoes on when you're installing your rain pants. And of course, another nice feature to have on cycling rain pants is some reflective materials. This one only has reflective materials on the pant leg. I wish it had more reflective materials, the more the merrier, but that's another feature that's really good to have on cycling rain pants. So the two key components that I've just talked to you about weren't very expensive, guys. They were pretty dang cheap. I bought multiple pairs of these. I've got 2 pairs of those boots. The next thing we're gonna talk about wasn't cheap. It cost me about $100, but it is by far the best piece of rain gear that I own. Before we discuss the last piece of gear, I've tried every kind of rain jacket you possibly can think of. I still have the North Face rain jacket. That was probably the best out of all the rain jackets that I've used, but it still wasn't good at all. One of the biggest problems you're gonna face is you're gonna face the problem of heat buildup. When your body is exercising, it is heating up. When it's heating up, it needs to cool. Now, if you're riding down the road in your bare ass, you're gonna stay pretty cool because the wind is gonna be hitting against your skin. But if you have a shirt on and a rain jacket over the top of that, you're going to get really, 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 really hot because that heat is not going to be able to release. Now, a lot of rain jackets, like my North Face rain jacket, they had zippable underpits, so it'd zip down. It had areas where it could vent, but they were pretty useless. Most of the time when you're cycling like this, your arms are kind of down, so that vent is blocked most of the time anyway. I just found that all that heat would build up and basically it would turn into sweat. You would burn up in that rain jacket. Now, if I had a choice on getting wet by rain or getting wet by sweat, I think I would choose the rain any day of the week and twice on Sundays, because sweat stinks, rain doesn't. So what is the point of having a rain jacket if you're just gonna get wet by perspiration? Well, that's why I did not like wearing rain jackets. This here solves that problem. This is a rain cape made by Clever Hood. This is the Clever Hood Rover rain cape. It comes in 3 sizes. It comes in small, regular, or tall. I got the tall one. It comes in this nice little handy carrying bag. This thing is great. It doesn't have that much in the way of reflective material. Now, Clever Hood does make some that are actually covered in reflective material. This one only has like a reflective Clever Hood logo, and I think one on the front here, and that's about it. The basic features of this that I like, starting at the top, is the oversized bill. This is really great because this helps rain from getting into your eyes. The material on this is extremely thin. Now, I know what you guys are saying. Brian, why didn't you buy a cheap rain cape? Amazon has cheap rain capes. This is a cheap rain cape from Amazon. It has a bill, but it has a clear bill, which I never understood why they had a clear bill on it, but it does. This is way heavier than this. It's much harder to actually pack up. It's much heavier when it's packed up. And watch this, guys, watch. Look at me. It does have the zipper to zip it up. It does have the cinch to cinch it around your face, which is nice. It does have some reflective striping around the border of the rain cape, which is kind of nice. But look how freaking big this thing is. Do you have any idea what it's like riding in this thing? It's like a big sail. I'm sailing away. Because that's what happens to you when you are riding with this rain cape. You are blowing in the wind like crazy. Not to mention this thing is freaking heavy. And it doesn't vent very well. I was only in my t-shirt and I was riding in this and I was burning up hot. And what makes me mad about the weather around here is 1 minute it'll be raining and you gotta put on your rain cape, and then you're burning up, and then it stops raining, and you're like, God, this thing's so hot, I gotta get out of this thing. So you get out of it, and then it starts raining again, and you gotta put it back on. This thing, you'd think that it would get enough airflow underneath here, but it just doesn't. It's hot, it's heavy, it's not a very good rain cape. This rain cape is a lot better in a lot of respects. It's much lighter. So when you put this thing on, I mean, look how easy that was to get on. And it really only covers your upper half. It still covers all the way down to your knees, which is still more than adequate enough. But it has some features that one doesn't, specifically for cycling, that I want to talk about. Mainly thumb loops. Why are thumb loops important, you say? Well, when you're riding your bike, you can completely cover your hands if the rain is cold. If it's not cold, you can flip it up a little bit and expose your hands, but you have thumb loops that keep the rain cape from flipping over your head while you're riding down the road. Thumb loops are a very, very nice feature. Another nice feature that this thing has, it has a belt that you can put around your waist. It attaches to the back of the rain cape. And what that does is it actually keeps it from flapping up too far in the back. No matter what, rain capes are going to flap, but you don't want it flapping up so high that your sides are going to get wet. Well, you're not going to have that problem when you have a nice belt to keep the back of the rain cape from flipping up on you. Basically does what the thumb loops do, just for your back. You can cinch up, obviously, the hood, but another thing that I love about this particular rain cape over that one is the fact that I can use my helmet with this one. It is more uncomfortable to ride with my helmet on that thicker rain cape than it is on this rain cape. So basically, I put my rain cape on and I can put my helmet on just like that. The bill is big enough that it covers my eyes so my eyes don't get wet. Because you could wear goggles, but we know how riding with goggles in the rain is. It fogs up, it's just miserable. You might as well just take them off. The best thing to do is keep rain out of your eyes, and that's what this bill does. It points down far enough to where the rain will not be hitting your eyes, but it's not obtrusive enough where it's gonna cover your line of vision. That one does. Even though that one has a clear bill, it still gets in the way, and you're constantly having to push it up, which is aggravating. This one doesn't do that. It stays in place. It is very, very nice. Another cool thing about having a rain cape like the Clever Hood Rover is that you can wear your backpack and you don't have to have a special waterproof backpack or any special cover for your backpack. You simply put on your backpack and it covers your backpack, which is really, really nice because then you don't have to worry about all your expensive electronic devices like your phone, your tablet, or in my case, cameras. You don't have to worry about any of that getting wet. They'll stay nice and dry under the rain cape. And the cool thing about it is if you want to get something out of your backpack, you can take off your backpack while you're still wearing your rain cape. You don't have to take off your rain cape to get into your backpack really quickly. Love rain capes for that reason. Anyway, guys, rain capes are the way to go. That cape is light enough to where it'll float up just high enough to allow air to actually come underneath the cape and keep your body cool. It's expensive, but it's a nice addition to my rain gear. I love it. It is my favorite piece of rain gear. To be quite honest with you, it's actually the piece of gear that made me like riding in the rain again. But anyway, guys, those are the three key elements to my rain kit. Sometimes it is that intermediary point between winter and spring, where it's cold, but it's raining, which means it's cold rain, which means you can't have your hands exposed. During the spring and summer times, you can have your hands exposed, and if they get wet, it's not a big deal, right? But during the beginning of spring to the latter part of winter where the rain is actually really, really cold, you'll want gloves on, but you'd want waterproof gloves. I use these a lot. They're kind of a neoprene type of glove. I don't even know the brand of them, but they actually are very similar to what a wetsuit is. So it allows your hands to stay warm. Even if the glove itself is wet, it still allows your hands to be warm. Now, if it's really, really, really raining out or it's really, really cold out, I have cycling pogies. These things were extremely expensive. I don't like using them because they take up so much handlebar space, but if I need to, like if it's really, really, really snowing, or it's really, really, really cold, or it's really, really raining really, really hard, and it's still cold, whatever, the cycling pogies are what I'll use. But I don't like using them if I don't have to. I usually try to find some kind of glove that can get wet and still keep your hands warm. Now, as for my body, my pants, my socks, whatever, depending on what time of year it is, I could still use the rain cape. If it's cold rain, I can just put on some layers underneath. Like I'll put a hoodie on just like I did a few minutes ago. You could always adjust your layers. You could always adjust and put more layers underneath your rain protection. But anyway, guys, that is my updated rain gear list for 2025. The biggest change I would say is I found some boots that would work. The pants are pretty much what I've always used, and the rain cape has been a very, very welcome addition. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave it down in the comment and questions section. Slap a like on the video if you like it, guys, and I will talk with you on the next video. Bye-bye.